Hello, people. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Muso,
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everyone. So let's wait for some time. We are 41 now. Let's wait for a couple of minutes and then we'll start off.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Mhm.
Sir, difference between space around and space between.
So space around will have the space on the leftmost side and on the rightmost side as well. Right? Space between will not have those spacing. That is the difference.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you.
You're talking about that justify content wala part, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the difference. Observe it, keenly. You will get the difference in the UI also.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you people want me to cover now? Like, do you want to go with CSS
Good
because we
evening,
have
sir.
2-3 topics like grids. We have responsive images, and then we have specificity. So 3 topics from CSS. So if you want, I can go with these 3 things, or if you want to have a break with the styling part and all, then after a couple of JavaScript sessions, then we'll come back, and then because so by that time you will have a good hold on your CSS skills, whatever we have gone through. So what do you want? Like, you want to go through straight away, or you want to have it a JavaScript session in between?
JavaScript, sir. Sir, JS.
Sir,
How many
no,
of
sir.
you?
At first
Yes,
complete the CSS, then we enter the JavaScript.
Complete
Sir,
CSS, sir.
sir, it will be better if you suggest us that this would be best way to go, because
Okay, so
means
the thing is, I would definitely want to cover one portion first and then go get into the newer portion. Why? What I can do is I will give you just basic knowledge of grids, because as I said, grids are it can be more complicated than the flexbox what we have learned. So what I will do is I will just give you the basic information at least, and then later on what you can do is based on that information, because your build your basic will be covered, right? So on that, whenever you want to advance your skills, you can do that, right? Because the thing is, like, if I do the session in between, what will happen, like, you will it will break your flow of CSS, first thing. Secondly, it will break the flow of your JavaScript also when we'll cover the JavaScript. So both will be affected. Correct?
yes, sir, correct.
So yeah, but some of your folks were pretty like not comfortable going through CSS because they were saying that it's going over your head or something like that. So that's why I thought like we can give it a break. If it was a weekend, then I would definitely that this would definitely would have helped you people. But like after this also, like, you are getting a weekend, right? So you can practice and you can memorize all those skills again,
Sure,
right?
sure, right.
Try those things out over the weekend.
Okay,
You get 2 days and then right. Okay, fine. So let's cover it off then, right? Let's cover the grids and then we'll go with JavaScript.
Yeah.
okay, sir. Okay.
Is it fine
Thank
with
you.
everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Fine then. So let's start. We have almost 60 folks now. So let's start off. So like in Flexbox, what have we studied? What was Flexbox all about? Can anyone tell me?
Sir, it works in one directional, sir.
Correct.
I mean, one
It's
dimensional.
a
Yes, sir.
one directional.
Right. So it was able to handle only one dimension of your layout. right? Either it can go horizontal or it can go vertical, right? You cannot cover both of them into a single style, right? You can either go either ways, either x-axis, or like we call it different ways, right? We can also call it like I can go row and column wise, or I can also say that I can go x and y axis, or I can also say horizontal and vertical, right? All are same, right? One goes straight line on the x-axis and one goes straight line on the y-axis. So this is what your flexbox all about. It cannot go both ways. It's one dimensional, right? One dimensional means either of the axes, like either y or x. What is better in grid is it's a more advanced, I would say, way of layouting things, right? And that is applicable when you do layouting in both the both the axes, right? Like you can do that on vertical and horizontal both, right? You can control both of the axes, right? So that's what is better in grid. However, it's always your choice, like what you want to go for. You want to go for flexbox or you want to go for grid. Grid, I feel, is kind of used in advanced cases, right? Flexbox is used everywhere for sure. Even if you use grids, maybe internally you will use flexbox also. Like you will style your outer part with grid, but internal part of your elements you might start with grids, right? So it can go both ways. Okay, but flexbox is way more used than grids. However, it depends on complexities. Like if you want to design a very complex kind of a application or complex kind of layouting structure, then grid is your way to go. Okay, so that's what grid is all about. Got it? Because you should have a clear separation of a grid and a css. Okay, sorry, flexbox, right? Like what is the difference? And like this is also a very commonly asked question, like what is the difference between a flexbox and a grid? Okay, got it, everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
So
sir,
here
grid,
you can, yes,
so sir, grid is multi-directional, isn't it?
two
Whereas
dimensional,
two
not
dimensional, yes,
multi-dimensional.
sorry, two
Multi-dimensional, if
dimensional.
you say, there can be multiple, like there's a z axis also,
Okay.
right? So it's a two-dimensional, x and y.
Okay.
Yes. So that's what is a grid. Now let's see what all things we can do with grid. Okay. So let me share my screen and we'll see. Let me know if you all can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You all can see it, right?
Yes, sir.
Someone was saying something. Just give me a second. Okay. So let me create a new folder here and let me call it grids, right? And inside this, I will create a new file. I'll call it index.html, and I can also create something like style.css. Okay, now I will generate the bare bone structure like this, and I'll call it CSS grids. Okay, now here, whatever we had using flex boxes, I'll try to generate the same thing, and then I'll show you like what I can do. How can I do the same thing, whatever I did in flexbox, in grids, right? So what we can do is, let's have multiple divs, right? So first thing is, let's have a main, and inside that, let's say we have separate sections. Okay, and let's call these sections. For now, let's not give multiple names. Let's just give 1, 2, 3 and something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, simple. Now what I can do is I can give this as same class as, let's say, container, right? And then here I can say that okay, let's keep it this way. So now what I can do, I can open this style.css file. Let me close all of the other ones. So now we have two files open. Now I need to link the CSS also. Here I can say, oh, sorry. Okay, now this is linked. So previously, to make a flexbox look like, let me open it first. I go this way, open it here. So nothing happens, right? It's simple that it actually generates a bare bone, bare bone implementation of this 1, 2, 3, 4. And why it is on the vertical line? Can anyone tell me why it is vertically aligned?
Because section is block level elements.
Block level.
Same thing whatever we have just said for the flexbox, right? It's a block level. So by default, block level actually starts on a new line, right? So after 1, it actually goes to 2 and so on and so forth. Okay, make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now what I can do is I can give them some spacing and width, so that I try to style them on a different note, right? So let's say what I do is I go here, or let's say first I select the container, right? When I want to make it as a display flex, so what happens? It actually turns it into a flex box, right? Here I will say same thing, same property, display, but here I will say grid, right? Something like this. As soon as I do this, this turns this into a grid. But what is the change? Can you see what is the change between grids and flex boxes?
It is still in vertical format.
Yes. In flexbox, what is happening?
Row wise. Row wise.
It
Row
used to go
wise,
row
one
by
by one.
default. Remember?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
As
sir.
soon as let me show you. If I do flex, what happens? It's
Row
going
wise.
to the row, right? So
By
this is
default.
one change also. Like by default, flex goes vertically. Correct?
That means column wise.
Yes, column wise. Now what I can do is, let me select it by this way. Now what I can do, I can select this. How can I select all the child elements of this one? Can anyone tell me what selector should I use?
Tag selector, sir, section.
Section or tag
Okay,
selector.
no, if let's say I want to select
Child selector.
child selector, very good. How
Arrow.
can I do that? Let's say I use this container, and inside this I want to select all the child. What should I do? The arrow mark. Remember? Yes. And then section, whatever we have inside this, we have section, right? So I want to select all the section. So this is also, I can do it using section also, right? But I'm just reminding you also some of the things that we can also, what to say, revise, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now I want to give a style for this section, right? So let's say I want to, whatever style I want to give, I can write it here, right? But if I give a width and height, what will happen? It will specifically get into a specific width and height. Let's say if I give 100 pixels of width and 100 pixels of height, what will it will eventually do? It will just separate them out to with 100 pixels, right? but
Yes,
we
sir.
cannot see it because why we can't see it?
Margin
Because the
kind.
same color, sir. Background color
Margin
same, na,
and
sir. Body color.
Because of background color, sir.
Yes,
border.
because of the background color. So one more thing is, like, let's say I want to separate them out, right, based on some conditions, right? So what I can do, have we seen different types of selectors like nth child selector?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Did anyone go through that?
Yes.
Like, what is nth child selector and how can we select that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Sir, we give the value in nth child.
yes, so let's say I want to select these some of the child of this section, right? So how I can do is container, and then for this section I don't want to select all of them. First, if I what is the type of that nth child selector, in which category it falls? In which category?
Pseudo class.
Pseudo class selectors,
Pseudo
people,
class.
right?
Yes, sir.
So pseudo class selectors, how do we write it? We use it a colon for it, right? A
Yeah.
colon, remember, like this, right? And then here I can write nth child, something like this. Now in this nth child, you can also give, you know, you can, if you want to select the alternate values, you can also give the odd and even values here. Okay, so if I give even, what it will do, it will select all the even values, which means like 0, 2, and then, you know, 4, something like that. Okay, so if I give like this, it will apply the styles to the alternate. Let me show you how it is. So if I give background color to, let's say, DDD, see what will happen. See what's happening. Every alternate one is getting applied. Every alternate one, right? If I give odd here, what will happen?
1 and 3 applied.
1 and 3 will be applied, right? So this is also, you will see very commonly, like where you have paragraphs, where you have, you know, different items which has some paragraphs. So you will see people will be using these kind of selectors, and child, odd, even, something like this. Okay, so this also you can use here. I can also give numbers, right? Nth child, we had last child. I explained you last child, first child, right? And I
Yes,
said
sir.
that we have nth child also. Did I said that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is the proper explanation for this. Okay, so now I have selected the even children. So okay, let me remove this, or let's keep it so that you get it for future references. Okay, so after this, what I can do, I can apply the let's say I don't want to go it vertically. Now I want to go it something like how we did it for the flex, right? So for that, we have a property called as grid column, grid template column. Okay, so what I can do, wherever I define this display as grid, right, there is a property called as grid template columns, this one. Okay, now this accepts values in different formats. As soon as you define this grid template columns, it can take any number of values, right? So let's say, see what happens. Let's say I give 20% and 20%. Okay, what happened? Two of them actually moved on this line. Like now we have 2, 2, correct? Okay, what I will do is I will have the odd ones also a different color, so that you able to identify like which one I'm talking. And let's say for this one, I'll give right. See what happened. What happened here? Can anyone tell me? As soon as I said grid template column as 20% and 20%, now I have in every column, I will have 2 elements because I have defined 2 elements here, right? 2 values here. So you will be having 2 elements on each column. Doesn't matter how many elements I have. If I go this way, if I, you know, have multiple elements from here, right? Everywhere you will have only 2 elements in each column, right? Right? So here, sorry, I'm saying column, rows, right? So as soon as I say grid template columns, and then I give 20% and 20%, it actually gives 20% width to this one and 20% width to this one, right? And this whole column will have 20% width. And as I said, two elements here, there will be only 2 elements on each rows, right? If I want to give 3 elements, what can I do? I can go here and say
Another 20%.
20% again, right? See what happened now, right? Right? Now it has 3. What if I want to do 4?
Just add another 20%, sir.
I can give another 20%, right? And this percentage can also be any value, right? Any value. Like, let's say I want to go something like this. Let's say I want to have two elements, and one I want to have 50% and another one also 50%. So how can I do that? If let's say I want to have 2 elements on every row and it should take the whole width, what can I do?
100%.
50% and 50%,
50%. Yes.
Yes, sir.
right? Something like this. As soon as I do this, what happens? It is taking 50% of the width, but here I have given the width as 100 pixels, so it is taking that width. So as soon as I remove this, what happened? 50% is being taken care of, right? Correct?
Yes,
Got
sir.
it? Yes. And height also, as of now, I have given as 100 pixels, right? As soon as I
Sir.
remove this, see what will happen. What happened? Now it is only taking the height that is required, like whatever is required till 2. Correct? Correct or
Yeah.
not?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, please take margin to differentiate.
I'll show you. There is a property for that. That's why I'm not showing you as of now. Okay. There is a property in grid for that.
Yeah,
Okay, for
they are
spacing.
overlapping. That's why.
Yeah, I'll show that. I'll show that. Okay. Like how to separate them in a better way.
So please change the section values.
Sorry.
Like you give 4.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Let me give it 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Correct. Now, if I want to go something like this, let's say
I take a even values in one side and odd value in one side.
let's say if you want to take, let's say 70 and 30. See, by default, not by default, generally how much width can be there? Like it's always, it should be equal to 100%, remember? Right?
Yes, sir.
So you can have any combination here, right? For 2 elements, for 3 elements, for 4 elements, but you just make sure that it equals to 100% always for better alignment. Okay. So see, now what happened? If I gave this 70 and 30, now whatever is the space available, the left part is taking 70% of the width, right? And the right part is taking 30% because I have defined it this way. Correct? As soon as I increase it, see, even if I'm increasing it, it's automatically adjusting, right? Whatever is the available width, it's the left part is automatically taking the 70% of it, and the right part is automatically taking 30% of it. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Right? So this is also controllable. Now here, if I say, let's say I want to have 3 elements and I want to give them 30%, 30%, 30%, 30%. Automatically, what will happen? It will automatically move these ones to the three elements in one column now. Why? Because I have defined 3 here, right? And I have given 30%, 30%, 30%. So 10% is left here. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Right? So 10% will be remaining. Correct? So is this clear? Like how this grid template column works?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So here, according to your use case, you can have any values, something like this. Okay. Now someone was saying that let's separate them out, right? For separating them out, right? So for that, we have different properties, right? So we have gap properties. So here I can say grid column gap. Okay, this is, I think, and let's say 10 pixels. Okay, as soon as I do this, what happened? What happened? Can you see a separation between the columns?
Yes, sir.
Right
Yes, sir.
now, as I gave 10 pixels, these are separated, right, by 10 pixels now, right? Similar thing, if I want to give the separation between the columns, I used grid column gap. What if I want to give the separation between the rows?
Grid row gap, sir.
Grid row gap. Very good. Grid row
Yeah.
gap, right? And here also I can give 10 pixels, right? So now this vertical also is separated, correct? Got it?
Yes,
So
sir.
if you are using grids, this is the go-to approach. This is what you can go with, right? Try to go this way rather than giving a margin and padding, because this will have a better control on your layouting. That's why we have these elements, correct? Now in this case, what's happening? I'm having equal space on both of them, correct? On the
Yes.
column also and on the rows also. So for that purpose, what I can do is I can use one property called grid gap directly. Right, this, right? As soon as I do this, as soon as I give them 10 pixels, it will add grid gaps for both, right? For columns also, for rows also. Can you see that? Right? If you want to give independent, you can do that also using grid column gap. If you want to give it for rows, you can use grid row gap. If you want to give for both, you can use grid gap. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that's about your spacing and your column values. Now,
Sir,
yes.
sir, in grid gap, can we give two values?
Okay, I was thinking of explaining it. If I give 10 pixels and 15 pixels, so like similar to that property. Which property? Which
Shorthand
property?
property.
Shorthand.
Column.
Shorthand property for margin
Shorthand.
and padding, remember?
Yes,
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 sir.
sir.
Right, so this gap property is kind of related to that property itself, right? So here, watch a close attention. There is a minor difference, right? So whatever values you provide here, so first one is the spacing between the rows, and then the second one is the spacing between the columns,
Columns.
correct? So this also you can do, but if you want to use, if you want to give one value, it will be applied for both of them, right? Like it was happening for that padding also, correct? Correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this is about your grids and your column and gaps. Okay. Now for this one, you can, it's not like you can just use, these percentages. You can also give values in the numbers also. Like let's say 100 pixels, 100 pixels, 100 pixels. If I do it this way, this also works, right? But now instead of having the percentage value, and it was taking the according to the width available, this will be still 100 pixels even if I go increase or decrease the width, right? It is not responsive as of now. Why is that? Why it is not responsive?
Because sir, we fix its value.
Fixed
Because,
values.
yes, we have given the
Absolute
absolute
value.
values, right? Absolute values or fixed values, right? When I give it as percentage, it used to turn it into a relative value,
Relative value, sir.
right? Relative value, absolute values. But
Sir,
still,
initially the grid column is taking width, no, sir.
sorry,
It is taking width size, sir. The 30%, 30%.
it's taking the whatever width is available in the browser, right? As of now, whatever width is available, this has taken 30% of it, this has taken 30% of it, this has taken 30% of it. If I increase the width, see, it will automatically increase.
Sir, what I'm asking is, it is taking in row wise, no, sir. 1, 2, 3. It is a row wise, no, sir.
No, that's how it used to be, right? I have defined 3 elements for this grid template column. So it will first align 3 elements on this row, and then it will only go on the next row. Get it?
Okay, sir. But the grid template column is somewhat confusing.
Yes, yes, it is. It is. I agree that, but
Sir,
it works
actually,
this way.
it does not work nth child selector.
Nth child. Why do you need nth child for this one? This is not. See, nth child is altogether a different thing. Nth child is a selector. Right? This is not a selector. This is a way of alignment. This is a way how you align things, right? So if I have, let's say, multiple items on the web page and I want to align them, on the web page in such a way that every
Sir,
column will have 3
sir,
elements.
can you remove this selector, nth child selector? Then that actually same work. A grid template column. You
Nth
have
child.
automatic.
Okay, you mean that if I copy this one into here, is it here?
No sir, no sir.
Then
सर इसको अगर कमेंट कर सकते हैं सर,
this one,
चाइल्ड सेलेक्टर
इसको
या दोनों को.
अगर इसको मैं कमेंट कर दूंगा तो फिर वो बैकग्राउंड कलर नहीं आएगा ना. Then it will look like this. यहाँ पे I'm not using any layouting concept. I'm just giving it a background color so that you can separate it out, like for which, where it is starting, where it is ending. It's just for that purpose.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, got it.
Right here, I'm not doing any layouting part. Whatever layouting I'm doing inside this container. Right? For this container, I'm defining that how many elements should be there in one column or a row. Like I have 3 elements, so I am giving 30%, right? Something like this. I can also give absolute values. I can give values in percentage, right? That's what I'm explaining as of now. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, like here, can you figure out there is a problem, right? If I want like 3 elements in a row, I have to first calculate that how much width. Still, see, if I want to have 3 elements, the problem is I give 30%, right? But it's not taking the full width. 10% is still left, correct?
Yes, sir.
Correct or not? So if I want to take the whole width available of the browser, what can I do? I have to write something like this, 33.33, right? For all of them, correct? Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
If I do something like this, then you will see that it is taking the whole width now, correct? All the width has been taken care of, right or not?
Yeah.
Right? So for these cases, to avoid these kind of scenario, like where you have all kind of calculations, you have something like called as fractions in grid. Okay. So same thing, to avoid the calculation, how I can write it is, I can write it using grid template column right? And here I can say, I can give the values in fractions. How I can do 1 FR, right? And 1 FR, right? So what does this fractions means? This fraction means whatever is the available value, I want to have 2 fractions on that first grid, right? Like I was saying 25% and 25%, right? If I give the values in fractions, it will automatically divide the whole width into 2 fractions and assign 1 for both of them, like this. Got it?
Yeah.
Right? And I don't have to now calculate the percentage, right? As many fractions as I want, I can just make use of this 1 fraction. Let's say I want to have 3 elements of equal widths. I can give 1 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR 3 times. I can also say 1 FR, 1 FR for 4 times, like this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Something like this. This is also available. Now, let's say I want to have 3 elements, right? Something like this. I want to have 3 elements, okay? But I don't want, equal width for all of them, right? I want to give the middle one, more width, or the last one more width, and the first 2, less width, right? If I want to do it using percentage, how can I do that? I have to give the values of the percentage, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The value of the percentage, like let's say the last one I want to have, you know,
Tomorrow will be the percentage.
50%, and the other two I want to have 25%, right?
Yeah.
So how can I do that in percentage? Here I can say something like this. Let's say, let me copy this one. Why am I doing it this way? So that you have references in your future, right? Let's say here, if I give something like this, 25%, 25%, sorry, 25% and 50%. What will happen? What will happen if I do something like this? As this is commented, so let me.
First to divide into 25 and 25 and then
First and second column.
50%.
Right.
What
So
will
what
it-
will happen?
it will
First
take
will
50%.
have the width of half of the half screen, right? First it will divide the screen into, you know, 4 parts, right? Sorry, 3 parts. One part will have 50%, means half of the screen, and the other half will be divided into these 2 elements, right? So something like this, correct? This has 25, this has 25, and this has 50, correct?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Same
Yes,
thing if I want to do using this fractions, I can do that. But here also, see, if I want to do it using percentage, again I have to make the calculation, correct? Correct or not? I have to make calculation or not? Like for this percentages, like 50% is the half of 100.
Yes, sir.
I have to have half of the width here, and then 25, 25. I can avoid that in fractions using these fractions. What I can say, 1 FR for this, 1 FR for this, and 2 FR for this. Simple, right? See, the same result is achieved, correct? And whenever you deal in grids, right, this is a, you know, go-to approach for you. This should be your go-to approach. You should avoid using this absolute values or percentage also. As much as you can go with fractions, you should go with fractions. Got it? Got it?
Yes, sir.
Got it.
Yes, sir.
What are fractions?
Got it.
Now see, this is if I want to write something like this. See, that's what I say, that, you know, programming is beautiful. Like people have, you know, so much thing designed. Now here, what is the problem? Can you observe a problem here? In this part only, what is the problem you can see?
So we
Correct
repeat
code.
again and again same thing.
Repetition, sir. Repetition.
Good, very good observation. So that's why. So for if here you have a repetition, right? I'm repeating one fraction 4 times, correct? If there is something like this, I can make use of a function here called repeat, right? What I want to repeat? One fraction, and how many times? How many times? 4 times. So the number of times I want to repeat, that will be the first value here. And what I want to repeat? 1 FR. So I will write 1 FR here. Right? It achieves you the same result. Got it? Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. So let me keep that also for your reference here. 1 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR. Right? These two will achieve you the same result. Got it? But again, see, how we are getting better. Initially, we started with, you know, this percentage values. Remember? Then we saw that, okay, there is a percentage that we need to have some calculation. Correct? Correct? So we went into fractions. Now in fractions, we were able to avoid the, you know, repetition, the calculation, but there was a repetition, right? So we actually avoided that also. Correct? So we are getting, you know, better step by step. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this is how you should write your grids. Okay, I think this is enough. There are more cases, but I will leave it up till this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is it fine for everyone? Any questions till now?
सर आपने आज जो फ्रैक्शन किया हुआ है ये पर्टिकुलर रिपीटेशन जो है वो इक्वल पार्ट में है, राइट?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
हमें जैसे आपने बोला 25% देन 50% करना है, तो जो आपने इससे पहले कोड लिखा था देन फर्स्ट फ्रैक्शन एंड सेकंड फ्रैक्शन, वो उसमें वही लिखना है ना कि उसका भी कोई शॉर्टकट? में repetition का है.
Let's say I want to repeat something like this. Something like 1FR. Let's say मेरे को ऐसा कुछ repeat करना है. Can you see the repetition here? 1FR, 2FR, 1FR, 2FR. So 1FR, 2FR is getting repeated twice. Correct? Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So can you guess like what I can do here? Can you guess?
So repetition दो बार use.
So
First
here I will say
always.
now repeat 2 times.
2 times.
Right?
Hmm.
And then what I can say?
2FR.
1FR,
1FR,
2FR.
2FR. 2FR.
Something like this. Right?
Okay.
Okay, so here I think we should not have a comma.
line number 4 एक बार please repeat कर दीजिए.
Line number
4.
4, this one.
Yes, percentage.
Okay. So here, like what I did was I want to divide this, the whole screen into 3 parts. Okay. 3 parts. The last part should have the half of the width, and the other half should have, divided into the half. Right. Let's say there are 3 people, right? And I have 10 rupees, right? I want to give the, let's say there are 2 of them are equal, right? Let's say there are 3 sons of a father. One is, elder, and the 2 are equal. Okay. What you want to do is want to give the whatever money he has. Let's say he has 10 rupees. What he want to do is he want to give the elder one half of the money. So what he will do, he will just divide the 10 into 2 parts, and he will give half of the one to the elder one. So how much the elder one will receive? How much elder one will receive? 5 rupees, right? I have 10. I just divided it into half, and then I gave the half to the elder one. Correct?
Yes.
Now, whatever is the left money, I want to divide it into the other 2 equal childs, right? So how much they will receive? 2.5, 2.5 or not?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that's what I have done here. Right. Half of the width I have given to this one, and then whatever is the other half left, I have given to the other 2, like 25 and 25 for the first 2. If I want to do it like the other way, like the first one I want to give 50%, and then the next one I want to give 25, 25, I can do that also, right? I can do something like this, right? If I do this, and if I uncomment this one, see what will happen. The first one is now having 50%, and then the other 2 is having 25, 25, right? So it's that way. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And this, whoever asked this fraction wala question, is this clear now? Like how this repetition goes? Is it clear? Like if I
Yes,
want to
sir.
repeat something like this, 1FR, 2FR, and 1FR, 2FR, what I can do, I can say repeat 2 times, and then 1FR and 2FR without comma. Okay. If I'll give the comma, then it won't work. Right. So 2 times, right? And then a comma, whatever I want to repeat. I want to repeat 1 and 2. 1 and 2, and then 2 times. Okay. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So
Sir,
that's
if
how you
R
should
is
write.
sir, if R value is considered as relative values or
Yes. It's a relative value to the whole screen, whatever is available. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So fractions, we call it fractions. The full form is fraction. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let's move now. After this,
Sir, you can take any value, either absolute value or relative value.
that's what I said. That I gave you 3 ways, right? One was the absolute values you can using this one, using pixels. Correct?
Yeah.
After that, I gave you relative values, but in this one, percentages, right? After
Yes.
that, I gave you values in fractions, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Got it.
Sir, but sir, generally we use relative values because we had
Yes.
to make responsive website.
That's what I said. That's what I said, that you should always try to use this fractions, because this is relative. This is more relative than this, percentages also. Percentage is also relative, but this is kind of gives you more flexibility, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you should, that's why I'm saying that it's recommended always to use fractions, okay, rather than those absolute values if you don't have any advanced use cases. Got
Okay,
it?
sir. Yes.
Right. Now we have same thing for the rows also. Okay. If I want to give the rows also a specific height, I can do it from here itself. Right. So there is a property called grid rows auto. Right. Oh, sorry. No, grid auto rows. Right. I think grid auto rows, this one. Right. So as of now, how much space this is taking? This is taking the least space, correct? Correct or not?
Yes, yes, sir.
Right? So what I can do is I can give them a specific width, right? So here I can say 100 pixels, right? So now these all are having 100 pixels of the width. Okay. The name is confusing. Again, I'm saying you, right? Here we say grid template columns, but it used to, somehow repeat it in the rows, right? And when we say grid auto rows, it is for the columns. But if you watch closely, you will say that actually I'm trying to give the pixels or the height to the row only. This row, I'm saying that this whole row should be of height 100, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So you can see it this way. Okay, I'm trying to give the height to the rows, so that's why I said grid auto rows and I gave 100 pixels. Okay. Now, what is the problem in this case? In this case, if I am doing this, auto, sorry, absolute value of this rows, what will happen? What is the problem is if I go here and let's say I have a, pretty big content. See, what is the problem? Can you see the problem here?
Overflow, sir.
It's getting overflowed from the container.
Yes, sir.
Right? So if you are not having any specific scenario where you don't want to go for this one, like don't want to apply this absolute values, don't apply it. Okay. Or else what you can do, you have a property which is something called as min max. Right? It's a kind of a function or a method, right? Like we had repeat, right? Same thing is a min max. What this does is this actually takes in the values, right? And let me show you one thing. If I don't give, first of all, if I don't give this property itself, it used to automatically adjust first thing. Can you see that? Can you see that what happened here?
Yes, sir.
As soon as I gave the content to this fourth one, which has to have this much of spacing, it automatically, take the spacing up till this. Correct? Correct or not?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Right? And it is aligning the others also into the same way. Right? Others also see getting stretched. It's always maintaining the alignment. Right? It's not breaking. As soon as I remove this, as soon as I remove some of the content, see, it will automatically adjust the height again. See, correct? But for this row, I don't have any content. So it's automatically sitting at whatever is the required height. Correct? But if I go here and if I give some content to this one, let's say lorem 10. So again, this will also adjust. Correct? Correct? You get it?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it automatically adjusts its content, right? But if you want to give them a specific value, let's say if I'm not giving it, something like this, if I'm not giving you, this row, if I'm not giving this kind of a value, right? So what is the problem? The problem is it's not taking the width. It's taking only the, required width. Let's say I don't want to give them the required width, but I want to give them at least some width. Correct? Some width. But if I do something like this, like grid auto rows, and then if I give them 100 pixels, right? What is the problem? If I have more content than 100, which is not, able to fit in 100 pixels, then it will be overflowed. Correct? Got it?
Yes, sir.
Got the problem here?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So for that, for solving this kind of scenario where you want to give them at least some width, but wherever there is a content which is not aligning in that available width, then you can make use of this function called min-max. Right? Here what I can do, I can say 100 pixels, right? Or let's say let's give them 50 pixels. Okay. And whenever I want to have, wherever it's having more content, I can say auto. Right? So now what happens, see, if there are more content, right? There are more content, it's taking that much of space, but if there are no content, it's taking 50 pixels. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Got it, sir.
Yeah, so that's what this min max property does. Min max, you can also understand it something like this: min and then max. Min means minimum it should have 50 pixels, maximum it can have whatever is required, means auto. Got it? Got it, people?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Pay a close attention, because these things are kind of tricky. Again, I'm telling you. Okay, sometimes it becomes tricky. Get it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's about your how the alignment of your row wise and column wise both. Right. Now let me show you one or two property more. I won't show you much of them, otherwise you will be getting confused. So okay, so nesting, should I show you or not? Let's leave nesting, because I don't think that you people will be getting into more of a nesting side. So let's leave that part. What
Sir,
else?
in our assignments, there is a property of span. You can explain that property.
Which property? Span.
Span, yes.
Span in grids, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There was a question assignment.
I think span. Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Inside
The grid columns. The property name is grid column, and we use in this span.
Dividing the grid into two columns.
That's what I showed you, all of them, right? How to divide your grid into two columns. If you want
Yes,
to give
sir.
the
Spanning the rows with particular width.
spanning the
Spanning
rows
is
with
like if we want to merge 1 and 2, then this is like that type of spanning they were showing. Like 1 is different column and 2 is different column. We want to we want to make it a 1 column, but the elements become same 1 and 2.
okay, so if you want to give only one column, you can give at 1 FR. Simple. One fraction. It will be all
Sir,
merged into one column.
no, that is 1 column, but here there is 2 columns, 1 and 2. We want to merge these 2 columns.
You mean, okay, let me get it correct first.
It's
So,
like, sir, a grid column start span 3. This kind of thing, sir. I mean, sir, it's value. Yeah. Like, sir, grid column start, then span 3. This kind of thing, sir.
okay, let me look into the assignment that what actually you're talking about. Grid
Sir, grid
column.
garden game, sir.
Sorry.
Sir, they provide us grid garden game, sir. That's why. I think
Grid
no. about it.
garden game. I need to look into that. I haven't seen your latest assignments, because I thought that we might not get into grid today. So I will have a look. And if you face problems using or doing that, I will give you more context, because if you're saying that grid span and everything, there are much more things that I have to tell you first, and then that grid span and all everything will come. Like what I'm getting it, like what you're trying to say. This is that there is something called as nesting of grids, like one grid inside another grid.
Yes,
Right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is that you're saying, right?
Yes, sir. Actually, no, sir, they try to move one portion of the grid boxes. That's why they're using grid column start kind of things. Or grid column
Sir,
start span 3.
span in assignments, the responsive grid, responsive resume using grid. That was the assignment. That was different assignment, like span of 1 and span of 2, and they have given the grid.
Span you're saying in terms of tag or in terms of
Sir, it's value, sir. Actually, property is
The
value.
value is span and the property is grid columns.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Grid column and the properties. Okay, I get it. Okay, fine. I think okay, should we cover that? Let me see. Let me talk to them first, and then we'll come to that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That was actually advanced one, sir. That's why.
Yeah, that's a kind of advanced one.
Yeah. So actually, they actually trying to move each pieces of their grid boxes to one position to another position. That's why they use grid kind of thing. I mean, grid span, grid start, grid end.
That there are multiple properties as well, like
Yes.
span, grid column. Span is one way to do that, but there are multiple ways also, right? Grid
Yes,
column
yes.
start, I think you're talking grid column
Yes,
ends and
yes,
all
yes, sir.
those, right? I got it.
Yes, yes, sir.
So there is a shorthand property also for that. Like you can say directly, grid column, right? Grid column is, you don't have to write start and end. You can directly say grid column and then 1-3, something like this. Let me show you, like, what am I talking about? For that, what I can do is, let's say here I can give a class, and then let's say section 5. And if I select like this, right here, we have different properties like grid columns. If I say, I can make use of the grid column start and grid column, this one, into one single property also, like this one you're saying, right? Span and then, right?
Yes, yes,
So
sir.
here you can also say, like, it also used to take, like, from where you start from and then where you want to end, right? Grid column end, there is a property called grid column end also. So here, let's say I want to end at 5, right? So it will change the whole, scenario itself. Like now, what is happening? 5 is actually starting from the, first point, right? And then it is ending all the way to the end, right? If I give this 3, see, now 5 will start from here and it will go, okay, let me go this way. So for giving you this one, I have to give you much more context of grid first, then only it will make sense to you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Actually,
that's why I was not covering
because
this
right
one.
now. Right. Yes, yes, sir.
There are 2-3 more things that I have to make you understand, and then this will, this will be kind of easier or, understandable for you folks. Okay. There are alignment properties. There are justify property, justify for the whole items. There are alignment properties. There are alignment properties for the whole item. There are alignment properties for one single item, right? And then when you get hold of all those alignment and justifying properties, then this will make sense, like from where to start, from where to end for different sections, right? From where to start, from where to end for, a specific section and multiple sections, both. So you can do it for both also. I can get these two into one separate grid and then do something with these two only. That is also possible. That is called as nesting and then alignment, right? So there are more complicated things that you can do using grids, but I'm not sure if that is required for you now, as of now, at this beginner level, because, it's kind of, kind of advanced is what I feel, as compared to the beginner levels. But if you want, I can cover that, but I'm not sure. Okay. So let's see. I'll talk to them. If they want you to really cover it, I'll cover it off. Okay, because I want to give you, the whole context. I'll just not give you the property names and I'll just write the values, and we won't understand how this is working. So that will not help you out in any way, right? It's not just about giving you properties and remembering, because see, whatever I have said, that I guess at least you have a, you understand the logic behind it. Like, what is this repeat doing? What is this fraction doing? Whatever, what is this does when I write two fractions, three fractions, right? So just for giving you the properties and the names, I have to first set the context. And for setting the context, it is kind of, I would say this whole lecture will go into that. So I'm kind of avoiding that as of now. Okay. Is it fine? Or you would really want to cover it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Let's leave that for now. Okay. Well, I'll talk to those people. If they say that no, you have to cover it, then we'll cover it. Till that, you understand and get hold of all these things. Okay. Okay. Is it fine? People?
Yes.
Okay. So in grids, I think that would be enough. Let's go to responsiveness, responsive images now. Okay, like how can you make your images responsive? So for that also, I think it's we'll see the specific scenarios, like how you can apply multiple kind of elements, and how you can have single elements, right? Something like that. And then we'll get into JS, at least the basics of JS, so that when we start from Monday, we'll just not get into the theoretical parts, but we'll get into the practical and coding parts more, right? So I wanted to cover that theoretical parts today. So let's see if we can do that. Okay. So responsive images are something like when you want to make your images kind of responsive. So we have seen responsiveness for layouting, we have seen responsiveness for nav bars and all, like the example that I explained in that. Here also you have seen the responsiveness for layouting, and we did it for multiple ways. We did it using grids, we did it using those flex boxes also, correct? So if I do a image, if I give it, if I render an image here, and then you'll see there is a problem. I'll show you. Like if I give this image, let's say if I go, where is that? I think HTML in session. If I do this, see, it's not able to show you, like this image is too big to sew it up, correct? Right? Can you see the problem here? Let me show you how that image actually looks like. So the image is something like this, something like this, but your browser is not able to show you the full image, right? So this holds true even if you are able to show the whole image, right? So in that case, what will happen? The problem will be like it is not responsive by default in nature. Okay, this image is too big, but if I take a small images, let me go inside this, and I already have some kind of coding. So let me comment out everything for now. Why is this? And let me show you one image here. So see, so let's say this is the image, right? But if I scroll this, let me remove this. So So if I have this image and it's not getting adjusted in the page, what I can do is, like, if I give the width as 100% like this, right? So this is one of the way to make your image, first of all, getting set up in your browser. Like whatever is the browser width, it used to go and take along with that, right? So the thing is, like, when you have a image like this which you want to take it for the whole screen, right, then it makes sense. But this also, somehow achieves you the kind of responsiveness like this. But if I'm having at this kind of a place, is this image looking good as it was, in this screen view, right? In this screen view, it was way too good, right? It was kind of a, it's a full-fledged picture. Actually, there are different types of pictures, right? There is a picture which has to be taken in a, horizontal mode. There are pictures which you used to take, on a vertical mode, right? So there are different types of pictures. So if someone is using something like a screen like this, then this kind of picture doesn't make sense, right? You have to think of a picture which is kind of a vertical in nature, isn't it? Right, people?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Right. So let me come here and let me show you one thing here. See, can you see the image now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So how this image looks like? This image looks like a full-fledged image, right? Which is automatically getting set up in your browser completely, right?
Right.
But and how this is working is when I give the width as 100%, right? If I remove this, the problem will be the same problem that we were facing for that Lotus image, right? Your image is actually not getting fit in your browser. It is getting adjusted based on its pixel size, which is much more, right? So for making that adjust on your web page, you have something like this kind of a property with 100%. As soon as you do this, what will happen? It will automatically adjust the whole image according to your browser's width, right? And even if you scroll or make your browser smaller, right, this also works, right? This automatically adjusts the images, right? So this is one of the very easier way to kind of make your image responsive by giving this width as 100%, right? And this also is fine if I give 50% or something, right? So in that case, what will happen? It will automatically take the 50% of the width, and this becomes responsive also. Like whenever I have the full screen image, right, full screen of the width, it would only take half of it, right? And this holds true with all the scrolling or downgrading the size of the browser as well, right? This is how it looks like. But the problem here is, like, if I am on a very small device, like mobile device, I'm saying something like this. In that case, if I'm having an image which is a horizontal image, does that make sense? Does that make sense?
No, sir.
Right? Because you're on a kind of a screen which is vertical in nature, like a mobile phone. How a laptop screen is, laptop screen is more wider and less height, less in height, correct? But in mobile screen, the width is less, right, and the height is more, correct? So in
Yes.
that case, you should think of an image which is somewhat like that, correct? So what we can do is we can make use of the media queries for getting these kind of things done. Okay, so let me show you that part. Like what do we achieve using that media query?
Sir, your sound is breaking, sir.
Is it breaking for everyone?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Then there might be an issue with your internet connection. Please check that.
Yeah. I will see.
Okay. So did you understood, like, this is also responsive, but what is the problem? Did you get the problem? Like in this case, what is the problem? Did you get it?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
what if you want to crop this image? I mean, like the middle part we want, then
You mean like you want to show something like this here?
Yes, yes, sir. I mean like the middle
Then
part.
in that case, you have to have multiple images, multiple cropped images, right? That's what actually I'm going to show you, right? Rather than cropping the image, I have, multiple images of different types. So let me show you. Like, let's say I have this image. So this is more like a horizontal image, right? Horizontal image. So if I'm setting this image as a background for my PC, this is fine. But if I'm setting this as a background of my mobile, will I be able to see the whole image? Is it fine? Is it fine?
No, sir.
No,
sir.
right? Because it's
No.
this image is actually kind of horizontal in nature, right? If I'm setting a wallpaper or something in my mobile, I will think of an image which is kind of, vertical in nature, right? Like this, correct?
Yes.
Not audible, sir.
Am I not audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are.
So people, then there might be an issue with your internet. Please check that out. Okay. So, this is the problem with images, like, because image, you cannot like it's sort of piece of information which actually might change based on the screen sizes, and then it will make more sense, right? So you can have different image sizes. So I have just have two images, which is one is vertical in nature and one is horizontal in nature, right? And one more which is horizontal in nature, something like this. But this is having more kind of a clear or more what to say, uh, more dot per pixels images, which is which is more clear, so you can have a very keen view of this. So like if I am on a screen which is like a monitor, like the monitor used to have a bigger screen than the laptop, right? So then what I'll do is I'll try to go with this image, right? When I am on a minimum laptop kind of a or tablet kind of a screen, then I will try to go with this image, sorry, this image. And when I am on mobile screen, I will try to go with this image, correct? Now these three images can be different also. Like someone was saying that I can crop this image from here, and I will show that. So let's say I want to crop this image from here, like up till here, and then I can keep it for mobile, right? That also I can do. But rather than cropping the images and all, I have just have three different images, right? I just want you to explain that the concept of using different images using media queries and how do we do that. Okay. So let's come here now. Let's come to our coding part. So in this part, what I have done, or let me take the style into a different file altogether. Can anyone tell me like what type of style I was using previously? What was that type?
Inline, sir.
Internal, not
Internal.
inline. Inline is
Internal.
inline is something
Yes,
that I use on
Yes,
the
sir.
tag itself. Like if I write the style here,
Yeah.
I say it on a style attribute. Remember, that is called as inline, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. This is internal,
Inline.
and this is external.
In
Correct. Okay. Now,
external.
yes. Now if I remove this, so as of now I'm having two images, so that's why you see one behind another. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Can you see
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
So what am I doing in this one is one image I'm having
Ready.
using this image tag here, correct? Let me remove these things also out, right? So I have one h2 tag, right? And then I have a image tag, which is actually the image, this image, right? But what am I doing using this? I'll come to that, but let me show you the responsiveness as of now. If I go here, right, see, at some point the background image is changing. Can you see that? Can you see that?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Right, and as soon as I go here, this background image also gets changed. This, for mobile screen, it used to go like this, correct? So have you seen like this, like where you have image within an image? Have you seen that?
Yes, sir.
So this is something that how you can achieve that also, an image within an image, right? What you can do is you can have an image tag outside, and then what you can do is you can go for the whole screen. So what am I doing here? I have a main tag, right? Inside this main tag, I have an h2 and I have an image, right? Now let's see what am I doing using the media query. We have studied media query in the last session, correct? Correct or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What was that doing? Media, and then we were trying to control the screen size, and based on the screen size, we were trying to have different styles. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
Right? In this case, what am I doing is I am having a screen size and saying that if maximum width is 500 pixels, you should show this nature 2 image. Which nature 2 is images? Nature 2 image is this. Okay. So that's why, okay, let me remove this image first and then I'll come to that. So let's say we have only one image, right? So see, as soon as I keep on growing, right? As soon as I keep on growing, the image will be like this only, correct? And as soon as I go beyond a specific screen, the image will change, right? And if I go beyond a specific screen size, which is 500 pixels, the image will be like this. Okay. So here, see what I have actually written. I have said first, don't look at the other screens for now. First, let's see what I have written here. So I have said media screen, and if max width is 500 pixels, right? If the width is 500 pixels, till that time, you have to have these many styles, right? What are these styles? I'm setting the background image. Have you seen this property before? Background image property?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? What this background image property used to take? A URL, right? Where we have to
URL.
give the image. We have to use this one, something like this, correct? So this also works, and in newer version, I think this has been removed. So this also works. If you don't give the codes and you directly pass the images like this, this also works. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So what I have done, I have said that like as soon as the max width is 500 pixels, right? Till the width is 500 pixels, you have to have this kind of style, right? And I am also giving a minimum height to this, minimum height to 500 pixels. If I remove this, see what will happen. Now that image is gone because the height of this image is not actually taken, right? I am not setting any minimum height for this one, right? So that image generally doesn't take its minimum height on its own when we try to give it using a background image size, right? This works when we try to give it as a image, right? In that case, see, we have not given any height in that case, correct? You're just playing with the width. Remember that? Remember
Yes,
that or
sir.
not?
Yes, yes, sir.
Right.
Yes.
Let me again
Sir?
quickly show it to you. Yes.
Please tell us more about background size, sir. I mean, I didn't understand.
Okay.
how it works.
So okay, I'll come to that also. So this background size has multiple options like cover, contain, right? And multiple other options. So when I say cover, what it actually does, let me show you the differences, right? If I say 500 pixel and if I say cover, it is actually covering the whole image, right? If I say contain, right? So this somehow actually what it does is it is kind of see, if I increase this, can you see the difference a bit?
Yes, sir.
what's happening? If I say cover,
Picture repetition.
yes, if I say the cover, see, it's automatically covering the whole spaces that is available, correct? See, that's why I have given this border bottom to make you understand. Let me give this of a new color, solid. Let's give one RAM and stack TTD. Okay, so see, in this case, when I have a background size as cover, it's actually covering whatever width is, or whatever width or height is available. So it's covering the whole, available width for it, right? But as soon as I give contain, right, you will see there are some, spaces which are left off. See, can you see this one? This space is left off. As soon as I increase this, right, see, there is a left off space here, right? There is kind of a, it gives you a way of like, there is, there are two pictures within, right? So this contain actually is not pretty much suited for these kind of scenarios where you're trying to achieve responsiveness and all, right? It makes sense like when you have, a specific use case where you assume that there are no change in the screen sizes and all, right? So in those cases you can make use of this contain, right? But generally if you go for these kind of scenarios where you have to have different images and cover the whole available width, then you should always choose to go for cover like this, right? To avoid extra or unnecessary spacings, right? And unnecessary uncovered parts. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's what this background size denotes. Okay, min height is what is the minimum height I want to keep for it, right? Minimum height, right? So minimum height I have given at 500 pixels. So it should always be 500 pixels, no matter like what happens, right? See, even if I am on this screen size or I am on this screen size, the height is still 500 pixels, right? The image is actually automatically adjusting itself. The height is not changing. Can you see that? Is this height changing anytime? This still is there. That's why I have added this border, right? So that you understand that this height is actually constant, right? So that's what your minimum height does, right? It actually keeps your height constant so that you are able to show, a relative image at up till certain instants, right? That you don't lose informations, right? So for that purpose, you use this minimum height for the images, correct? And if I remove this property, what will happen? As you don't have any extra or given height for this, your image won't be shown up, right?
Yes,
Got it?
yes, sir. So what if we write only height instead of min height?
That will also work. That will also work. Min height. So
Sir?
minimum height, why do we generally write is like height is something that we want to give it a specific height. Okay, there are three properties in height: minimum height, maximum height, and height. Okay, minimum height in
write maximum height, then what happens?
If you give max height, see what is difference between min height, max height, and height is height you are being specific that I want the height to be like this, like 500 pixels, right? But in case of min height and max height, I want it can be lesser than that also. So in case of max height, it can be less than 500 pixels. Okay, but maximum will be 500 pixels. In case of minimum, it can go beyond, maximum as well, beyond 500 pixels as well, but minimum it should be 500 pixels, right? So that is the difference between minimum height, maximum height, and height. Height is being specific. Minimum height you can go at least 500 or more. Max height you can at least you can max go to 500 but less also. Something like greater than and lesser than. Have you seen that? Like greater than, less than, and equal to. Have you seen that? What does that denotes? The same this min height, max height, and height denotes. Okay. In mathematics, we used to have that, no, right? Like 8 is also less than 10, 7 is also less than 10. Okay. So here that becomes max height. So max height is 10, right? 8 is also, less than that. 9 is also less than that. 7 is also less than that. Correct? So if I write max height 8, 7, 8, 7, 9, all are applicable. Correct? If I write min height 5, so I will say minimum is 5, right? Max you can go anything. Max you can go either 10, you can go 8, something like that. So that's what greater than and less than wala example. Get it? Get it?
Sir,
Yes.
if we provide image through CSS, then we must write height properties or width property.
Height property. Width I have already written for this one. So if you don't write the width property, right, the problem or like if you don't write width and height, the problem will be nothing will be shown, right?
So it will only for CSS kind of thing. I mean, if you add the image through CSS only.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So did you saw that, like if I was not having that, in this case, when see I have shown you different types of or two different ways of adding images, right? In the first case I was using this image tag, right? This image tag, correct? So when I'm using an image tag and I want to give the image as, the full-fledged, kind of a way, right? To full-fledged cover of that image. Then I was using that width as 100%, remember here. And if I want to give only the half of the screen, I was using the width as 50%, remember?
Yes.
Remember that, right? So here, if I give the width like this as 50%, right? So in this case, actually, this will also work. Like this will also give you a width of 50%. But if I don't give a width, like this, so by default, it actually covers the whatever is available width. Correct? Get it?
Yes. Sir.
So in this case, I don't have to write that width is equal to 100% if I'm writing using a background image property. If I'm using an image tag here, then I have to write it, because in that case, what was happening? It was adding a scroll bar, remember?
Yes.
Remember that? Right. So that is the difference. Okay. But if you want to give a specific width, let's say you don't want to cover this image at the whole width available for you. So you can give specific width here. That is also applicable. Right? Like this. So if you write like this, the image will be half of the image. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Got this part?
Yes, sir. Please give me the little break, sir.
Okay, you want a break? Fine. We are almost done with this responsive image. So we'll cover it in the next 2 or 3 minutes, and then you can take a break. Okay. And after the break, we'll start JavaScript. Is it fine?
Okay, sir.
So now you see, can anyone tell me like what have I done in this case, in this media query? Everything is similar, kind of same. Can anyone tell me?
Sir, sir, can you repeat again? Background size cover, sir. Actually,
okay, when I was using a
Sir,
different
we
background
have
size.
increased the mid width 501 px.
Yes. And
Max width 7.
yes. So what am I saying at here is, in this line, I was saying that from 0 to max width of 500 pixels, right? You have to apply this style, right? Here, what am I saying is, min width is 501 pixel and max width is 768 pixel. You have to apply this style. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Correct? Let me write it here. So here we have different screen sizes, right? So for number 1 screen size, which is the least, applicable. So I said 0 pixels to 500 pixels. I have to give this style. Got it? this style,
Yes,
right?
sir.
After that, here what I'm saying is from 500, and because 500 we have already covered, right? So that's why I have 501 this time, correct? From 501 pixel to how much?
768.
768 pixel. Why I have used 768 pixels is this is generally a screen size for your tablets.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's why I have used 768 pixels, right? And so for this screen size, right, which is greater than the phone and comes under your tablet, right? So here what I have done, I have changed the background image, and everything else actually I kept the same. Background size again I have given as cover because I want to cover the whole width available. Minimum height I have given 600 this time, right? Because I'm increasing the width, so that's why I have increased the height also a bit, right? And then I have changed the bottom border color so that you get a different color and get to know that when this is getting changed. So this is under 500 this time, right? And under 500 it's always this image. But as soon as I go and increase 500, see what happened. What happened? The screen gets changed, the image gets changed, correct? Can you see that? Is the image getting changed?
Yes, sir.
Right, so it is having this image now, correct? Get it?
Yes, sir.
And I can see. So the problem with this one is like this image is kind of horizontal in nature, right? This image is kind of horizontal or vertical. What is the difference between this image and this image?
One is
One is
vertical,
horizontal
one
and
is
one is
Vertical.
Right.
This is horizontal.
So when you have a vertical image, it will be more height, correct? Correct?
Yes, sir.
More height and less width, right? So width we have managed using this media query, correct? Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
That from 0 to 500,
Yeah.
you have this one, and image I have choose that I have to go with this image, correct? Which is kind of horizontal in nature. And I have given the height also as 500 pixels, correct? Now, what am I saying is, as soon as I go and touch this 501 pixel, right? I want to give the height as lesser. Why? Why? Why am I giving the height less than the previous one?
So because we have to make the image horizontally.
Because I'm actually trying to render a horizontal image this time. Horizontal image usually have lesser height and more width. So here I'm increasing the width, correct? Correct or not? Am I increasing the width here or
Yes.
not? I'm increasing the width, right? So
Yes.
I am
Yes,
trying
sir.
to go for a minimum height this time so that my image looks good, correct? So see, this actually somehow is it's getting it's looking good at up till this time. It's not covering any information. But as soon as this actually is trying to touch this height, this width, 768 pixel, what am I doing? I'm again changing the image. I'm again changing it to this image, right? And here also I have to give a lesser width. Let's say I give 350 pixels, like this. So this is kind of more in height, so let's give it 500. So you have to see according to your image, right? Like what screen it fits what, right? And based on that, you can have a full control using these media, right? Like how much height is it is actually getting set. So what did? I was checking the height of this one. So this was kind of a a vertical image. So I gave the 500 height and 500 width. So it was looking good here, like this, right? So after this, let's say you want to have couple of content, so you're not losing any information from the image also, and then whatever content you will write, that will also work, right? For this image, actually I'm turning it into a horizontal image, so I'm actually having a bit lesser kind of a height, right? Because this image is kind of horizontal in nature. But as soon as I'm increasing the width more, right, in this image, right? So I have to increase the height also a bit more, right? Because this image is kind of, getting rendered on a screen which is this much of a height, but if I this much of a width, but if I am having lesser height, I will be losing some information, like this man will be not completely shown. So you have to see, check, and wise, accordingly you have to see that which kind of height or which kind of width are getting adjusted, right? So you have to have these kind of properties covered, or this kind of properties on your own, like how actually you want to apply it. You have full control, but these you have to have your kind of, you what to say, your views, like which all information you see that you don't want to show or you want to show or something like that. So full control is being given to you using media queries and these properties, but it's totally on you that how you want to show it and how much information you want to show it. Okay, does that make sense?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you tell me the difference between @media screen and @media only screen?
Okay, so here if I want to touch some other properties also, which we very generally not do, right? If I write only screen, then my media is only applicable to the screen only, right? And generally that is what we write, right? But media actually doesn't only control your screen, it can also control some of the other things, right? So generally we don't do that. That is again an advanced use case. I also have very limitedly use that other different types of properties of that screen. But only screen, when you write, your media is only applicable to the screen. But when you write a screen, then your media is open to to be applied on different properties as well. Okay, so that is the difference.
So is it possible to achieve same responsiveness in same image?
I didn't get it, sorry.
So same image here we use different image for different screen size, but I want to achieve same image in.
That's what
I
I
want.
did. That's what I explained on the first example. I was having same image, and that was only getting showed up, and then I showed you the, like, what is the problem with that approach also. Did I?
Yes, sir, yes.
First,
Yes, sir.
I showed you that example only, the very first thing. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's about your responsiveness of your images, right? So this is what you might follow to make your image responsive. There are multiple other things as well, like pictures, src sets, but we might not need it as of now. But again, I'll talk to the people. If you have assignments related to that, I will give you a brief intro of that as well. Okay, is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now you all can take a bit break. I'll just give you a brief intro of JavaScript, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Fine. Get back by 10:44.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so is everyone back? People?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
great. So, everyone, please go on a mute. Okay. So now we'll see the intro to JavaScript, like what is it and why do we use it and everything. Correct? So JavaScript is something which actually gives, life to your web pages, right? Your web pages are generally static in nature. Static means like you can only view the content, right? Like whatever HTML page or whatever we have designed as of now, were you able to do any of the things on those web pages? You're only able to consume the content, correct? Correct or not?
Yes.
Correct? Are you able to get it, like what I'm actually trying to?
Yes, sir.
Just give me a second. So if I show you these, all of these code, whatever code we have written till now, even if I'm on a, on a screen, on a web page which is showing me images, on a web page which is showing me some text, or which is showing me some form, or whatsoever, showing me buttons and each and everything whatsoever, right? I am just able to view the content, right? I can just see the content. I cannot do anything with it. Correct? So at the beginning, we learned HTML, which was able to, in which we were able to just, display the content. Correct? Whatever we will write in this HTML page will be displayed in the browser. That's it. Correct?
Yes.
Secondly, what we did, we actually came and we actually tried to style. We actually made our content more, elegant to our eyes, right? We styled it in such a way that it looks beautiful. Correct? So, that is something that we did for just to make the content beautiful. There is nothing else. We still cannot do anything with that content, right? We can only view it. We can only consume it. Correct? But with JavaScript, you will actually be able to talk to your web pages. What do I mean by talk to your web pages is, you will not just be able to consume, but you should also be able to do something on the web pages. Correct? Do something means that based on users interaction, you can allow the user to interact with your web pages now, right? As of now, they're not able to interact. They're not able to do anything. They are just, they can just come to your website and they can see the things, but they cannot do anything, right? Like I just gave you one info, this one, right? That hotel wala website, right? That day. So if I take that and if I open it here, right? So here you are just able to see the content, right? Here if I click on this home page, I'm just able to see the content, right? I am able to see this content in the about page. I'm able to see the content in the contact page, right? But eventually, if I'm talking about this contact page, when I write something, let's say I write my name, right? My name here, right? My email ID, something like my email at Gmail, and then, something like some message like I want to book a hotel or something like that, right? Book a hotel. If a user is doing something like this and submitting the query, like submitting this to contact us, what is what the user actually wants? What the user want? Why is he or she writing like this? They want to, do something. They want to get something happened with this one, right? If I do something like this, and if I do like I want to book a hotel, this information should reach the hotel, correct? The hotel staffs or the hotel management, right? So that they can get to know that, okay, there is a user called Abhinav whose email ID is this, and they want to book a hotel, right? So that they can go to their email ID, and they can give them, whatever is the information available, that okay, my hotel is actually available from this date to this date, these are the price ranges, right? So that you can book a hotel, right? That's how it happens. That's why people create a website, so that they are able to reach, multiple people. They are able to reach multiple, users. Correct? But in this case, if even if I click on this submit button, this doesn't do anything as of now, right? Because this is kind of a broken, right? So if this doesn't do, this web page actually doesn't serve the purpose. This eventually this contact page doesn't serve the purpose. This contact page is something, when I click on this submit button, it should contact the hotel what to say, hotel managements, right, or hotel staffs, and then based on the query they are able to resolve the query from the customer. Correct? That's what this context page is all about. But this website is kind of a static website as of now, which you cannot do anything on this website. You cannot do any of the what to say, any of the thing on this website. Correct? So to make your web pages live, or to make your web pages kind of interactive, we have this JavaScript. Got it? Got it? That what is the need of JavaScript, people?
Yes, sir.
Yes, to make your web page dynamic, or make your web pages live, we have this is something called as JavaScript. Got it? At the very beginning, in the very first session, I said something like this, that using HTML you are able to just write the content. You're using CSS, you'll be styling it, and then using JavaScript you'll be doing a lot many other stuff like dynamic things. Remember that?
Yes.
Right? So that's what this JavaScript is. Okay, now see, we just kind of got some idea. Okay, so JavaScript is something which gives a web page a life, right? Which make our web pages dynamic or live, right? But what is this, what is this JavaScript all about, right? So it's kind of a scripting language, right, which runs in the browser generally. Got it? So there is always some place to learn. Like if you have gone through those your DSA sessions, if I want to run a Java program, right, or a C program, what is required? What is required?
ID.
No, ID is just to write your code.
No,
Sir,
Java backend, sir.
extension dot Java
backend,
dot
sir.
JS like this.
Compiler.
Yes, sir.
Compiler. Okay, there is a in generic terms, if I say, there is something called as environments, right? Have you seen that Java or has something called as JRE, Java Runtime Environment? Have you heard
Yes,
of this term?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There is something called as JDK as well,
Java
Java
development
Development
kit.
Kit,
Java development kit.
right? So if you don't have these two things on your machine, and if you have your Java program, and if you write your, doesn't matter, you have dot Java extension or dot class extension and whatsoever, if you write it and in your terminal and execute it, it won't execute if you don't have this JRE and JDK. Have you tried that out?
Yes, sir.
Right? So first thing, when you start with Java or any programming language, that you get its runtime environment first, right? Where that program runs, where that language actually runs, right? JavaScript can run in the browser directly. Got it? It doesn't require any environment to be set up, like Java runtime environment, or when you, I'm not sure like how long you have been to Java or something, or any programming language. I'm expecting that you have interacted with any one of the programming language till now. Correct? Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Right? So wherever you have interacted with a programming language, the first lecture, in the very first lecture, you will be asked to set up your workspace. Have you done that? Like either they have given you a document, or they might have a session that where they will ask you to set up your environment, right? You all have done that, I believe. Right?
Yes, sir.
If you're on Java, you must have set up your downloaded some JRE or JDK. Then you must have gone through the installation process and everything. Have you done that? Right? Yes. So that is just for setting up, Java runtime environment in your machine, so that your machine is able to run those Java programs. Correct? That's what the requirement is. Right? Same thing in JavaScript. It actually directly runs in the browser. And the JavaScript also requires a runtime environment. It's not like JavaScript doesn't require a runtime environment. but that runtime environment is actually sitting in the browser itself. Got it? That's the difference. So that's why if you have any browser in your machine, right, your machine is able to run JavaScript in that browser, because like your browser actually internally holding that runtime environment. Got it? Is it clear up till this? Like what is JavaScript and where JavaScript runs? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
सर जावास्क्रिप्ट जैसे रन करने वक्त मतलब ब्राउजर में कुछ सेटिंग में चेंजेस करना पड़ता है?
नथिंग, कुछ भी नहीं करना होता आपको. आपको बस जावास्क्रिप्ट की उस फाइल को एग्जीक्यूट करना है, and you will be landing. Let's say I connected my JavaScript with one HTML file. As soon as I load that HTML file in the browser, whatever is written inside my JavaScript file, that will execute automatically. Okay, you don't have to do anything. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. So that's what your JavaScript runtime environment is. Now the thing is like why are these runtime environments available? Like where can you run this JavaScript? Now how many of you have heard that JavaScript is not just limited to browser nowadays, it can also run on server? Have you heard of it?
Yes, sir. Node.js.
Node.js. Very good, very good. How many of you heard of this Node.js? No one other than this, whoever said this?
Rakesh, sir.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Multiple people
Yes,
have heard
sir.
of it. Good. So see, till 2013, when Node.js was not there, till 2013, like there was only one way to run JavaScript, and that was inside your browser. That is only one way, right? Because your browser were having your runtime environments. But what did I said? Your browser is able to run the JavaScript just because your browser has the runtime environment, correct? Similarly, like have you said that like if you remember your very first class of Java or any programming session, they must have said you that Java is platform independent. Had they said this term?
Yes, sir.
Platform independent.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean?
Yeah, you can run it on any device or any platform. I mean, like server, Android
Yes,
system.
you can run it on
device.
any platform, any device, right? But what is necessary? What is necessary?
Environment.
That you should have the running environment. You should have the Java runtime environment in that platform. Doesn't matter if you're running it on Windows, doesn't matter if you're running it on Linux, doesn't matter if you're running it on Mac. If you have that Java runtime environment installed, you will be able to run Java. Correct? That's what means your platform independent, right? That is not dependent on any platform. It can run on any of the platform. But the thing is that you should have that runtime environment over there. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Right? Same thing applies to JavaScript also. You can run it in the browser because browser has the runtime environment. Correct? So you can directly run it in the browser, right? And almost so it means that whichever machine has the browser, like whichever machine has JavaScript runtime environment, you will be able to run Java. Similarly, whichever machine has the browser and the browser has the runtime environment for JavaScript, you will be able to run the JavaScript. Got it? Easy?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, how the Node runs JavaScript is Node has actually built a runtime environment for JavaScript, right? Now, have you like heard of different runtime environments? Like JavaScript runs, like how many browsers you have heard of?
Like Mozilla.
Like first
Firefox.
one, I guess everyone uses Chrome,
Edge.
right?
Chrome.
Spider Monkey,
Brave.
Firefox, right? Then IE, correct? Safari, right? So all of these browsers have different runtime environments for JavaScript, right? For Chrome, it is called as V8. There is something called as V8, right? V8 is a runtime environment for JavaScript in Chrome. In Firefox, there is something called a Spider Monkey, right? Spider Monkey is a JavaScript runtime environment for Firefox. Okay. For Safari, I think there is something called as Squirrelfish, right? And for IE it's chakra. Okay, so these are actually the runtime environments which are running inside your browser so that your JavaScript can run within that runtime environment. Got it? 3 steps, right? First is like your JavaScript requires a runtime environment similar to all other programming language does. Correct? Easy. Like
Yes, sir.
Java needs Java runtime environments, right? Python also needs its own environment. C++ also needs its own environment, right? So similarly, JavaScript also runs its own runs it in its own environment, and it requires, in our case, it generally used to run inside the browser because the browser has the runtime environment, right? So which all runtime environment we have seen today?
V8, sir, Chakra.
Right. So we have seen couple of,
Spider monkey.
right? So first one is V8, that is
V8.
mostly used one, which is inside Chrome, right? For Chrome, it is called as V8. V8 is the, so if anyone asks what is V8, so you can say that V8 is a runtime environment for JavaScript inside Chrome. Got it? These are also sometimes, it's a kind of an interview question that people ask. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then for Firefox, you have SpiderMonkey. For IE, you have Chakra. And for Safari, you have Squirrelfish. I'm not sure on this one for Safari. Most probably it's a Squarefish. Okay. So inside those, your JavaScript actually runs. Got it? So this is about like what is JavaScript, how it runs, right? And what we can do using JavaScript. Is all these 3 things clear with everyone? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in the next session, we will be jumping straight away into the coding, and I will show you that how actually JavaScript runs inside your browsers and how actually everything works. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Right. So I think, yeah, we are almost above time. So we will be wrapping this session up. Okay. So you can go for your mentor sessions, and then we'll see in the next session. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we can meet in the next session. Yeah, someone is raising hand. Abhishek. Yes. Abhishek, you have any questions?
No, sir.
Fine then, people. We will
Hello,
be.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, please provide a web page using Flexbox. You make using Flexbox.
Okay, that web page, huh? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'll give it. This one is you're asking, is it? Okay, I gave it to you, no, isn't it? Oh, okay.
Sir,
You are asking for the Flexbox one, huh? This is not a
yes,
Flexbox
sir.
one. Okay, I'll push the code today. Okay, along
Okay,
with all of these responsive and this media query one and this Flexbox one. Okay, along with all of these, I'll push the code today. Fine.
Sir, can you
Yes.
please add me on your Slack channel because I don't get any notification on Slack
Okay. Not
regarding
sure.
this interest batch.
You don't have access to the Slack channel, is it?
No, sir. Sir, I am using Slack channel, but not for yours. Like for the interest batch.
Enter is January 2022. You're not added to this?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm not sure if I have access to add people. You can ask someone from like either Sagar or Ankit. They would be able to do that, I guess. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Right, because I don't have, I think, the what to say,
Access to it.
Yes. Okay, no,
Okay,
I
sir.
have it, I think. Anyone you will add will be able to see. What's your name?
Saurabh Rawat.
Saurabh. Saurabh, is it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, I have added you just now.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Fine people, just keep practicing things. We are done with CSS and we are done with HTML. Try your assignments out and try to explore. CSS is all about exploring. We cannot have each and everything covered in the session, but everything you can explore and you can learn. It's you have your building blocks, built now. You can just go and build all your base upon that. Okay,
Okay, sir. Okay.
fine then, people. Bye bye.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.